The snake was the guardian, not the enemy. Once in a quiet village nestled between tall mountains and a deep forest, there lived a young boy named Rohan. The village was small but peaceful, surrounded by green fields where farmers grew their crops. The people lived simple lives, working hard during the day and resting under the stars at night. But there was one thing the villagers feared more than anything else: snakes. Every evening, the elders would tell stories of dangerous snakes hiding in the tall grass, waiting to strike. Parents warned their children never to wander too far into the forest, for the snakes there were said to be venomous and deadly. Rohan had heard these stories all his life, and like the others, he believed snakes were evil creatures to be avoided or killed on sight. One morning, Rohan's mother asked him to fetch water from the river near the edge of the forest. The sun was just rising, and the air was cool. As Rohan walked along the path, he noticed something glistening in the grass. He froze. A long golden snake was coiled near a large stone, its scales shining in the sunlight. Fear shot through his body. He wanted to run, but the snake hadn't moved. It simply watched him with calm, dark eyes. Rohan took a step back, ready to turn and leave, but then he heard a strange sound. A faint hissing. Not from the golden snake, but from the bushes nearby. Slowly, another snake emerged, this one black with red markings. Its tongue flicked in and out as it slithered closer. Rohan's heart pounded. He had never seen two snakes so close before. But then something unexpected happened. The golden snake suddenly moved, not toward Rohan, but toward the black snake. It raised its head and spread its hood, hissing loudly. The black snake hesitated, then turned and disappeared into the bushes. The golden snake relaxed, lowering its hood, and looked at Rohan once more before sliding away into the grass. Rohan stood there, confused. The snake hadn't attacked him. Instead, it had acted as if it were protecting him. Was that possible? Could a snake be a guardian, not an enemy? When Rohan returned to the village, he told the elders what had happened. They shook their heads in disbelief. "Snakes are dangerous," one of them said. "You were lucky it didn't bite you." But Rohan wasn't so sure. That night, he couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the golden snake. The next morning, he decided to go back to the river, hoping to see it again. This time, he brought a small basket of fruit, something his grandmother used to leave as an offering to the spirits of the forest. He placed it near the stone where he had first seen the snake and waited. Hours passed, and nothing happened. Just as Rohan was about to leave, he heard a rustling sound. The golden snake appeared, moving slowly toward the basket. It sniffed the fruit, then looked at Rohan. For a long moment they simply watched each other. Then the snake turned and disappeared once more. Rohan returned every day after that, leaving small offerings, sometimes fruit, sometimes flowers. And every day the golden snake would appear, never threatening, always calm. Over time, Rohan began to realize that the snake was not what the villagers had claimed. It wasn't a monster. It was just a creature living in the forest, like the birds or the deer. One afternoon, as Rohan sat near the river, he heard shouts coming from the village. He ran back to find people gathered in the square. A farmer had been bitten by a black snake with red markings, the same one Rohan had seen before. The man was in terrible pain, and no one knew what to do. The village healer shook his head. "We don't have the right herbs to cure this venom," he said. Rohan thought of the golden snake. Could it help? He didn't know, but he had to try. He rushed back to the river and called out, hoping the snake would hear him. To his surprise, it appeared almost at once, as if it had been waiting. Rohan took a deep breath. "Please," he said, "a man in the village has been bitten. Can you help?" The snake tilted its head, then turned and slithered into the forest. Rohan followed, his heart racing. The snake led him to a patch of small blue flowers growing near an old tree. It stopped and looked at Rohan, then at the flowers. Rohan understood. He picked a handful and ran back to the village. The healer crushed the flowers into a paste and applied it to the farmer's wound. Within minutes, the man's breathing steadied, and the pain faded. The villagers watched in amazement. "Where did you find these?" the healer asked. Rohan smiled. "The golden snake showed me." From that day on, the villagers no longer feared the golden snake. They called it the guardian of the forest, and they learned that not all snakes were enemies. Some were protectors, watching over the land and its people in ways they had never imagined. And so, the village lived in harmony with the forest, respecting its creatures instead of fearing them. And Rohan, the boy who had dared to see the truth, became a storyteller himself, one who told tales not of fear, but of understanding, reminding everyone that sometimes the real enemy is not what lurks in the shadows, but the fear that keeps us from seeing the light. The end.